Well, these are strange times, aren't they? And charities and care for the family, we're knowing some challenges at this time as individuals and families and nations are. But we've also got some good news we really want to share with you. You know, Care for the Family began just over 30 years ago. I left the legal practice to begin it, and I can tell you for those 30 plus years, it has been one of the greatest privileges of my life, and my wife Diane, I know, feels the same, to share in that ministry. We have seen incredible things, and we're so grateful for the privileges of those years. People often say to me these days, well, when are you going to retire? When are you going to hang your boots up? And the honest truth is that I'm pretty fit at the moment. I'm okay, and I love speaking and writing. And so far as possible, so long as there's breath in my body, I want to go on doing that. Nevertheless, I know it's important to hand on the reins, especially the reins of the everyday running of the charity for the sake of future generations. For about the last 5 years, our leadership team has involved 4 people. Myself, Catherine Hill, our UK director, Paula Pridham, that runs so many of our programs, and Robin Vincent. And about 2 years ago, we talked together, we prayed together for wisdom, and we wondered who was best just to be in the seat of running the day-to-day life of Care for the Family. And we decided that Paula and Robin would do that, and they've done a brilliant job of that. But just before Christmas, so before all this kind of amazing things that we're seeing in the world today, these great trouble that come, this pandemic has hit us, way before that, at least in this country, just before Christmas, we appointed Robin as our new CEO. Now, I'm not going anywhere. That may be a joy to some people and a disappointment to others. And Catherine Hill, our UK director, is not going anywhere either, nor Paula. But we believe that Robin has a special role for this time. He's an incredibly gifted man. He's been with us about 10 years in Care for the Family, and as I say, involved in the leadership for a lot of that time. Robin spoke to the staff just after his appointment, and he said a fascinating thing to them. He said, I'm my own man. I don't want to be like Rob. God has given me gifts. He's given Catherine gifts and Paula gifts, but I don't want to be like them. I need to be me. And that was so wise. God has given him remarkable gifts. He spent a lot of his life in public service, in the local authority, and he's been a church leader, and got lots of gifts into strategy and planning and vision. Married to Hannah, 2 children, lovely family. And I believe God has given him another gift. I believe God has given Robin the gift of wisdom. He's courageous, but he's wise, and he's actually a humble man. And I can tell you that the 3 of us, Paula, myself, Catherine, are just thrilled, so grateful to God for his appointment. And without question, although we're going to be around, Robin will be at the helm of Care for the Family, but we'll be there as long as there's breath in our body to do what God has called us to do. So these are exciting times, and I would ask that you pray for us and pray for him as we enter this next phase. Now, I know that you would want to meet him, so in a moment he's going to speak to you himself, and then perhaps I'll be able to say a word or two at the very end.
Hello, I am Robin Vincent, and I am delighted to be the new Chief Executive of Care for the Family. As a charity, we have been serving and strengthening families across cities, towns and villages for many years. And for the past decade, I have had the opportunity and pleasure of being part of that ministry. My wife Hannah and I have been married for 22 years this December, and we currently have the joy and the challenge of parenting our 2 teenagers. I'm not really sure whether that has made me more or less qualified for the role, but for sure, Hannah and I both feel that God has led me to this appointment. I'm genuinely grateful for the manner in which Rob and Catherine and Paula have supported my appointment. Prior to my time at the charity, I worked mainly within the public sector, but I've also served in local church leadership within several churches across the UK for the past 2 decades. It is a great privilege and responsibility to take the reins, and of course for all of us as we continue to build on all that has gone before. Throughout the years, Care for the Family has walked alongside countless families and couples through both the good times and when they're experiencing difficulties or loss. Presently, many people are living in a context of increased pressure, greater uncertainty, and unexpected grief. And we want to do all we can to help families navigate these days, standing with them when they need it most so that they are not alone. And perhaps most of all, we want to be able to bring hope. With that in mind, I want to say thank you. Thank you to our partners. Without your generous support, we could not have made the difference we have. And without you standing with us, we will not be able to do what we want to do and need to do to further strengthen family life. I genuinely am grateful, and I look forward to meeting many of you in the months and years that lie ahead.
Well, I hope that was helpful, and I hope pretty soon you might get the chance to meet Robin personally, perhaps at one of our events or our functions somewhere. You know, our friends and supporters are not just supporters. You've become like family to many of us. And as I bring this to a close, can I just say that Care for the Family are doing fine, but these are challenging times. And we're already having a few little concerns about income with regard to the future. So if you can help us in any way, whether it's regularly giving or perhaps by a one-off gift, and I know many of you have already done that and are committed to us, and I understand that. But if you can help us, that would be incredible, especially at this moment. So there's our news to you. You know, Rick Warren said that we often think of life as a mountaintop experience and then valleys, but often it's not like that. It's more like a railway track. And on this track, bad things are happening, but at exactly the same time, good things are happening. And although there's much tragedy around at the moment, I do thank God for the good things that are happening as well. Families touched, marriages restored, single parents still having someone to stand by them, all that we're able to do. And I thank God with all my heart, and so does Catherine and Paula, for Robin's appointment. Significant days for Care for the Family. Thank you, dear, dear friends.